Hi, my name is Lian Gabriel Canaliha,
And I'm Ronel de la Cruz.
and together with my partner, we are here to discuss with you about gaming addiction. What is gaming addiction? Video game addiction is a compulsive or uncontrolled use of video games in a way that it causes problems in other areas of other person's life. Gaming or video game addiction is a real mental health condition affecting millions of people around the world. Typical, Typically, a gaming addict will have this level of severity resulting in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. And the patterns of this gaming behavior is normally evident over a period at least 12 months or a year in order for a diagnosis to be assigned. Although this required duration may be shortened if all those diagnostic requirements are met and the signs and symptoms are too severe. This is really indeed a mental health condition. This is why too much is too much. Too much is not really good for our health and for our individual being. Most games were only available on arcade machines in the early days of video games, which were not accessible 24 hours a day rather. Unlike nowadays, video games can be easily accessed through the computer, through the tablets, other gadgets like I guess PS4, PS5. Yes, we have that, and also through mobile phones. Mobile phones in early days used only for communicating with our loved ones, with other people around the world, but now it can be used as a tools for entertainment. But just like what I have said, too much is not really good, and it is really alarming. It is really alarming some some sites are taking advantage of this, of these platforms or on these gadgets that I have mentioned. The source of the addictive quality of gaming is still unknown, but the researchers propose that the process of playing and winning these games may trigger a release of dopamine. What is dopamine? It is a brain chemical that elevates mood and provides a rush energy. Dopamine is the same as neurotransmitter involved in other addictive activities such as alcohol or drug abuse. Let's not be hypocrites. Let's be honest that in when we find joy, we find we feel joy, victory, or something. It's like we are happy on winning, and if we win, it's like it triggers something within us that we want to keep on winning. We like to see, we like the feeling of winning and winning. So the tendency of play and play again is big. So instead of instead of we play games for fun, we play games because we love winning. As a person that is I as a person that is competitive, I hate losing in some point. That's why I rather try and try and try again, and not until I think it's not good for me. then that's the time I will stop. About this dopamine, so as I have mentioned, it's like a neurotransmitter involved in other addictive activities such as alcohol and drug abuse. So, why do you think, aside from those chemicals that they can get in taking those, uh, dopamine also, like, those they think gives them gives them a pleasure, and that pleasure is something that they wanted to feel over and over again. That's also similar with playing and being addicted with video games or games. It gives you pleasure, happiness, joy in winning. That's why, just like I have mentioned, too much is not good. Too much is not good. That's resulting into addiction.
To keep you hooked, video games are designed to be addictive utilizing cutting-edge behavioral psychology. Games are immersive experiences that release a lot of dopamine. Overexposure to this level of stimulation can cause structural changes in your brain. What are the causes of video game addiction? Well, here are some causes of video game addiction. First, games are so immersive that it's easy to play for hours and hours without even noticing that a minute has gone by. Games usually are social and create an environment where you feel safe and in control. That's why you rather choose to focus on game than doing what is needed in real life. Second, game developers also develop manipulative game design features such as in-app purchases, microtransactions, and loot boxes. Mostly game developers created games that will push gamers to go beyond their limits, especially those competitive gamers. That is what I want, I get it, type of person that sometimes leads to addiction. The third one is low self-esteem. Most teenager or a person who has a low self-esteem intended to be more addictive in video games because it's like escape to them and they feel that they don't need to show their physical appearance or what just their skills. And the last one is loneliness. Sometimes playing video games is fun enough to kill the time, but too much of this is dangerous. I myself was a victim of game addiction because of loneliness. Here are some signs and symptoms of video game addiction.
So, let's talk about signs and symptoms of gaming addiction that we must watch out. First, we have here is the emotional symptoms. We have restless. The addict may find it hard and difficult or impossible to remain still or calm for any length of time because they will feel some they will kind of feel frustration within them if they don't do anything, or if they stay out or even stop playing with their games even though they wanted to take some rest, because some addicts are aware of their behavior. It's just it's so addictive. They were so hooked into this game or into this activity. So even though they wanted to take some rest or stay out of their phones, they can't, because the pleasure that they are feeling, that overwhelming that overwhelming pleasure is all that they want, and that's what makes them addict or restless, because they can't do anything, because all they wanted was to win and win and win, or if they were lose, they wanted to try again until they feel that overwhelming pleasure again. Next is the irritability. An addict, a gaming addict, may be quickly to lose temper or snap with a little things that kept them from playing, for distracting them. They could burst out in a few seconds, because just like what I've said, they were too focused on their goal. What is their goal is to win. to feel that pleasure, that overwhelming pleasure of winning. I myself once a gaming addict. I used to play Mobile Legends and waste most of my time or the rest of the night playing. As much as I wanted to play one or two games just for fun or for entertainment, if I lose, I feel bad for myself. And that's why I keep trying again. And there's this time that my brother called me, Ate, there is something there they I please do me a favor or something like that. I shouted at him because I don't want any distraction. I get easily irritated because what I wanted was to focus on what I'm doing, on my goal, to win and to feel that overwhelming pleasure of winning. And just like what I have said again, too much is not good. That's why those those addict with games, with video games, is are easily irritated with those people, with those things that keep them distracting, keep them um, away from playing because they were really into that game. They were really focused, and they don't and people don't and they don't like any distraction. Next is the preoccupation. Gaming may entirely capture the addict's thought process, leaving them unable to think about anything else. Some of these gaming these people who's really into this game, was already set a goal. If they don't, if they feel like disappointed about their performance, they cannot stop thinking about it. Even though they were eating, they keep on thinking about, oh, what did I do? Why is my strategy is not good? Where, why? Where is the this and that? Why? And this will preoccupy their minds. And even though you keep calling their names, once they still thinking about this, they can hear you. This is one of the reason why they give up some things, like schooling. Instead of doing their homeworks, they'll just they'll be thinking about their performances on their games, or they'll be thinking other strategy that will help them to win. And yeah, this is really bad. This is where things will go not good because they're really occupied instead of doing their homeworks, their school activities, or hanging out with their friends, maybe even taking a bath. They'll be definitely forget about that because their minds were already occupied by this game, this activity. We have the lying about the time they spend. Many gaming addicts are feel they can feel embarrassed or they were ashamed of the amount of time they were spending with their addiction. I guess there is no addict that admitted that they were addicted into this activity. Some of them were really embarrassed in the fact that they have to spend too much on this on this activity just to feel that pleasure of winning, that just to feel happy, satisfied. They have to play around 5 hours. Is it really hard to win this with this game? Or is it really that hard that you cannot be satisfied on the result? Something like that. And yes, they were really embarrassed. So instead of admitting that they were addicted with this, they'll be, no, I just spent 1 hour or less than of that. So they won't be judged by anyone. People nowadays are judgmental, but yeah, they become liars. And isolate. We have also last the isolation from others to spend more time gaming. They think that playing games will make will bring more comfort to them. That there is a greater joy on playing games rather than hanging out with real friends, because they got used to it, or their minds already has already set a goal that I want to reach this level. For example, in Mobile Legends there is ranking. I wanted to achieve the mythical glory. And I can't do that if I keep on hanging out with my friends. So I'll decline all their invitations, reject all their emails, not going to answer their calls or chats, but I will play. I will do my best to achieve this goal. And that's where the friendship or the social empowerment will going to start. You're losing your they're losing their social life over a game, over this activity.
Physical symptoms. First, fatigue. Many people play computer games for very long periods of time. Indeed, as noted above, gaming-related fatigue has been a factor in numerous deaths in recent years and often sacrifice sleep for the sake of continuing to play. Second, migraines. Prolonged gaming has been known to spark migraines even in those who have previously not suffered from them. And the third one is The third one is carpal tunnel syndrome. And the third one is carpal tunnel syndrome. Repeated, very protracted bouts of gaming using manual controls such as drawing pads, keyboards, or mice can lead to the wrist condition known as carpal tunnel syndrome. And the last one is poor personal hygiene. Some gamers allow their levels of hygiene to slip significantly as a result of their protracted gaming. And or because their isolation leaves them feeling that they do not need to make any effort in this regard. Some esports competitions have been obliged to post notices warning that gamers exhibiting poor levels of hygiene will be disqualified and removed from the venue. Here is a case study related to gaming or video game addiction.
So we have here one of the many case study that is related to gaming addiction. Here is the addiction to video games, a case study on effectiveness of psychodynamic psychotherapy on a teenage addict struggling with low self-esteem and aggression issue. In the present case study, it focused on a 14 years old teenager who struggled with addiction to computer games and subsequent issue of aggression and social withdrawal. Most of the people who struggle in video game or in gaming addiction are teenagers. I believe so that self-esteem is one of the factors that needed to consider. Why is a person engaging with or playing with video games? teenagers doesn't have fully realized or developed yet their self-confidence or self-esteem to interact with other people. That's why they rather withdraw themselves and play with this virtual world they created. They can also make friends in just playing video games. But just what I have said, too much is not good. So in this study, this teenage boy also struggling with aggression, maybe because of the video games they were playing. Just like he is only 14, and whether we like it or not, they can be easy influenced. Maybe the games that he is playing is too way aggressive, or we don't know, because there are lots of variety, or there are lots of kind of video games. That's why it is important for a child or for a teenager that has not that is not well well grown up to be monitored by its guardian or by the parents. I remember there is a post that went viral over the internet about it. It is about a guy who plays Mobile Legends, this game, 24/7 without proper sleep, without proper meal. And sadly, it doesn't bring him any good. He was diagnosed with colon cancer, and eventually he lost his battle. It is really important for us, for everyone, that to know that too much is not good. That too much will bring negativity, will bring harm to everyone. As the researchers agree that video gaming is a harmful or addictive activity, many people, including parents, believe that video games expand the imagination and gives opportunity to work on collaboratively and to sharpen in the cognitive skills of their children. Yet, when young people spend most of their time playing video games at the expense of schoolworks, over their schoolworks, over the other events, other for physical exercise, family events, family gathering, social activities, the benefits of gaming seems less certain. Let us all be reminded that video games or games were existed for fun, for entertainment, or to help you with your imagination, with your other skills. But just what I have said from the very beginning, too much of this will drag you down, will take away the peace you have. So let us be aware and spread awareness and take care of our mental health. Thank you for watching.